since I don't want to be called Agnes and not Lucy, it's one name, so it always goes Agnes Lucy. But if you can call me Sister Lando, there's no problem. Professor Lando is fine. Sister Professor Lando is fine, as long as sister is there. So where did it all begin? Did I always want to be a lecturer? Yes, not a lecturer, but a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher. And my intention of becoming a teacher was to influence the lives of young people and also the lives of society. Because once you interact with people in class or in the workshops, in the seminars, in the discussions, you influence them to a certain point. So I've always desired to influence people positively towards transformation, towards their love for God and their own development. So yes, from childhood, I wanted to be a teacher. But not just an ordinary teacher. I wanted to be a teacher in communication, because way before I became an adult, I loved communication things, especially because I think my dad, when we grew up, my dad loved radio and he always listened to football. So I knew the players. I didn't know how they looked like because he always listened to football on radio. So I really wanted to do something on communication. That has been my passion.
Have you taught in any other institution besides DISTA? And how is the experience from there and DISTA?
When I was doing my master's, I was teaching part-time as a graduate student at Tangaza University College. But after my PhD, when I came back to Kenya and I was assigned to teach at DISTA University, no, I've not taught in any other university in Kenya. And I made a deliberate choice because I didn't want to have divided attention so that I'm rushing from DISTA to another university back and forth. No. So I decided to give DISTA my all, and that's what I do. I teach here only. However, during my long holidays, I'm an adjunct faculty at St. Augustine University of Tanzania. I also go to Makerere University as an external examiner. And I also examine for St. Augustine University of Tanzania. So yes, I have the experience of different institutions.
What are the characteristics that you prize most in students? And if you could also tell us what are some of the characteristics that you find intolerable in students?
One thing I don't tolerate is lateness. I really abhor especially for communication students. I don't tolerate lateness. Why? The discipline itself dictates that you keep time. If news is at 7, it is 7. There's no way one media house or one TV station is going to run news at 7 and yours begin at 7:05. Which means if I switch on my telly and I've gone to your channel and news is at 7 and you don't have it, you have lost me as an audience. I'm going to the next channel where I will find news is where I will stop. So one, I don't tolerate lateness. Two, if you are in the media industry and you delay one program by a few seconds, you have interrupted the entire production time. The entire setup for the day for that particular media house is not going to run smoothly. So I train my students to keep time. Is late assignment. If you've been sent to the field to cover a story, you're supposed to file a story at the end of the day. So if my students know very well that work is due on 16th January, for example, 2018, at 5, you don't bring it at 5:01. You bring it at 5. So I know when students select my courses, oh, I'm going to suffer a whole semester with Sister Lando. Fine. And the last thing I don't tolerate on students is for students to work late in my class. We normally begin the semester on an agreement. We discuss and say, okay, class begins at 5:30. We shall start at 5:30. But in the event that we're stuck on traffic, you're looking for parking, that kind of stuff, we give you an allowance of 5 or 10 minutes and we agree. So you don't come past that, because then you interfere with everyone. That strictness is not just to punish people. It's training. It's training. We have had people who have lost a job opportunity because of arriving late. We have had people who have been discontinued from the media industry because they went on air 2 minutes late. So it's all important. So if you're in the media industry, discipline. If you're in communication, discipline. So that's what I don't tolerate, but it's a way of educating them and forming them.
So besides being a senior lecturer, you're also the deputy head of department in the communications department.
No. And I'm not a senior lecturer. I'm sorry. I'm a professor of communication.
Please tell us, what are your current research interests?
I'm constantly doing research because I love research. Research helps us to inform decisions. They help us to be able to advise institutions, government, church, society at large. So when you have research, then you don't make a mistake because your recommendations are based on facts. So are you asking what I'm doing at the moment in terms of research, or what researches I have conducted?
What area of research is your interest?
Okay, I have a keen interest in communication ethics. I've published in that area. I have a keen interest in doing research in terms of media, education, entertainment, and information, especially for the young and the youth, the children and the youth. There's a research we just concluded in Rwanda on how media, and especially video and television programs, can aid the little ones, the nursery school babies, and standard 1 and 2 pupils, how to learn English, to learn mathematics, and to learn science. So that's one of the researches I've done. So that is, again, communication and education, but also touches on communication and health. So another area I really love to research on is communication theory. How different communication theories influence individuals and how this now relates to day-to-day living. So I have diverse areas of research.
So if you could tell us what has helped you to remain grounded over the years in the education sector, where longevity and consistency is a rare feat. Judging from the fact that you have been consistent as rising from a lecturer, senior lecturer, to a professor, what drives you?
What drives me is the desire to serve, because I'm focused on my call. I consider my being in Daystar a calling, and so I've responded to God's call to come and serve Him in His people in Daystar, as a parent, as a formator, as a counselor, as a lecturer. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So it's a call, because first of all, I'm a religious, I'm a sister. So I'm not here just as a lecturer, I'm not here just as a professor, I'm a sister. And that's why I say, you can forget about my titles, you can forget about the professorship, but please don't forget about the sisterhood. So better make a mistake and call me Sister Lando, that's fine. But don't say Professor Lando, no, sister will always be there, and it is the first one. So for me, my being in Daystar is a call. I'm responding to God's call, and that is what drives me. So the issue is, what did God call me to come and do at Daystar? God called me to come and serve. And so everything I do, whether in the office, whether in class, I give it my all. That's why I said that I'll be doing 10 years in August as an employee of Daystar University. So since I returned from my PhD in Rome, when I came to start working here, I've not taught in any other university. By choice. There are many universities that ask. They ask me to go for maybe part-time teaching. They ask me to go for examination locally. I said no, because my attention is going to be divided. So I'm giving my whole to Daystar for now. When the time comes to go, I will move to the next station. But like I said earlier on, during holidays, I do something at Makerere, the external examiner, and I also do something at St. Augustine University. So what has kept me going is my focus, but mainly my call. I understand my being in Daystar as a call, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah.
So if you weren't a lecturer, what would you be doing?
I would still be a sister. I'm a sister first, then everything else second. I would still be a sister. Because to be where I am, it has taken me more than 15 years to train in communication to be a professor. So each of those days, I was always a sister. Last year I just celebrated, 2016, I celebrated 25 years of being a sister. So yeah, sorry, I'll show you this. So this one, this is my, it's 25 years of service as a sister. So whether I'm a lecturer or I'm not a lecturer, whether I'm in class, whether I'm in bed, whether I'm on the road, I'm always a sister. That's my first calling. So that's it. So if I was not a professor, I would still be a sister. So professorship doesn't come first. Sisterhood comes first. My Christianity, my faith comes first. So that's what I do. And with or without the title of professorship, sisterhood remains. That's our way of life. We have medical doctors in the community. We have financial administrators. We have people of different qualifications. We have counselors. But when you come, we are all the same. We are all dressed like this. So you can't know. Maybe since you know me, you say, that's Professor Landy. But if you find 5 or 6 of us, you won't know who is who. Because we are all sisters. Or sisters of Mary, for that matter. Yeah, so here in the university, yes, Prof. At home, if someone wants to be very formal, they'll call you Sister Lando. But otherwise, it's just Lando, come here, do the dishes, what? That's our life. Yeah.
Which part of the world would you love to retire to?
I'd love to retire to what we call our mother house. Our mother house is the place where all sisters of Mary begin their training to become sisters. And when you retire, when you are old, when you are sick, when you die, that's where you go. And so that is Mukumo in Kakamega. Cut.
Which part of the world would you love to retire to?
I would love to retire to Mukumo, which is in Kakamega. That is the mother house of the Sisters of Mary. This is where we all begin our life, our journey as sisters, where you are trained on how to become a sister and what is expected of you. So we are sent out to work in different parts of the world. But when you age, when you grow old, and when you become sick, or when you die, that is our final resting place. So I'd love to retire there, to our mother house in Mukumo.
Who do you listen to the most, and it's not music?
Latest, I listen to Pope Francis. I love his reflections, and I listen to them in Italian.
Do you like pets?
No. No, I don't.
No pets for me, maybe?
No, I don't like pets.
Would you rather go to the wild or the waters?
Both. I'd like to go to both the wild and the waters because I love water. I love being in water. I love being near water because in water everything is still and water refreshes us. But in the forest, I listen to nature, God's creation. I hear the sounds of the birds. I hear the quietness of the forest. I love both. Whenever I have an opportunity, I go to the waters, but I also go to the forest.
Or chicken or egg?
None. I don't like neither chicken nor egg.